All right, let's try this. Hey, this is Michelle, and thank you so much for anybody who joins me today. Today is day number 7 of my personal self leadership project that I'm running for this month. So I'm doing 30 days of self leadership, or getting myself prepped for that. I'm calling today Reflect and Regroup. You could also put relax in there and some other things. So what I want to say is, one of the things that I have learned is that whenever you do something, you have to build in a rest period. You have to build in a respite from it. Not a retreat, but being able to reflect and push back a little bit. And so that's what today has been about for me. And it was funny because it was kind of like just a natural thing where I started, getting into that move, that groove, today. And I realized, today has been day number 7. That's about right. Because if you want to assure yourself that your best laid intentions will go to hell in a handbasket, keep working, keep doing this grind every day without any type of reflection or whatever. Even when you're working out, you have to rest your muscles. And so this is no different than any of that other stuff. When you're endeavoring to change yourself, whether it be in small little micro commitments like we're doing with the Kaizen method and, the one and some, or if it's really trying to develop the practice of focus, you still have to get some rest. You still need to get a distance from what you're doing to reflect. You still need to take time to gather observable feedback, lessons, information, input data, whatever you want to call it, to be able to understand and learn from what you've been doing. So this week was pretty good. And for me, and I want to just talk about a few little things. For me, I learned that right now I'm cycling at about every 3 days, because I noticed on day 4 and then today I was naturally, starting to, pull back a little bit. And like on day 4, I had to stay on myself, so like, I was like, I got to do my micro commitments. I got to do this. I got to do that. But, when the cycle came back around for today, I was like, okay, this has been, 6 days of putting it in, and, I'm going to take a little respite from the grind of the schedule, of the this and of the that. And the wonderful thing about it is I got a chance to take a little bit of a break. The hard thing about it, especially if you're like me with tendencies to be a workaholic or whatever, you got to fight the guilt of, oh man, I know I should be doing this. I know I should be doing that. And don't get me wrong. I'm not lounging around and doing nothing. It's just, I am taking it a little easier to, just flow with stuff and, be okay if I don't hit this and that, because rigidity is not something that will benefit us either. So let me talk a little bit about my personal notes on where I am on this. Oh, and before I forget, if you're in the group that we're doing, it's, free to join, and the link is in the description. I'm going to be doing a live stream after this in the room, and so don't forget to bring your questions, bring what you've been working on, and as a group we'll take a look at it and see where we can help you, give you feedback, give you tweaks and things like that. So I'll be doing that after I get through with this. The information is in the room, and so if you're in there when we start, you'll be able to do that with us live. Okay. So, but getting back to where I am today on reflect and regroup, what I want to say is, during this time now, like, some people call their time of reflection, of regrouping and rest, they call it a Sabbath, or you can just have a Sunday. This would be like for some people a Sunday, where you sleep in and you try to get your mind reset and ready to go start your week again. So that's what this is. I know we're slightly off on the physical days, but it's the same concept. And so with that, what I am doing, and if you're following along with what I'm doing, you don't have to do what I'm doing, but if you want to follow along, what I'm doing is I'm looking for uncovering and looking at cycles. Like I was talking about before, I noticed on day 4 and then day 7. So about every 3 days right now, I'm cycling on my natural energy and learning when I need to push forward, when I need to not just be feeling it, but when I need to just really enact strong commitment and that kind of thing. And then also looking at my tendencies and any kind of shortcomings, things that I've struggled with, things that presented a resistance to me. Believe it or not, one of my habits I've been, like having to getting my steps in around the same time. It's been something that I've had to work on this week because of my schedule kind of being wonky and trying to finish up some stuff. And so that was one of the reflections that I looked on. So for me, today, what I'm doing is I'm readjusting, fiddling around with my schedule and giving myself windows for when I can get stuff done. So if I miss the window here, I'll get it there. And, for me, if it doesn't get scheduled, if it doesn't get planned, it doesn't get done and it doesn't succeed, because there's always, I'm saying for me, but that could happen to anybody. There's always something waiting right there to take that time up. I don't think any of us have a lot of quote unquote free time, but you have to fight for your time. Do you realize that time is the most precious thing you have besides the breath and air and life in your body? Time is worth more than even money. I have had to rechange and rethink that the most expensive thing is the most precious sought after thing is not wealth, not fame, not dollars or money. It is time and quality of life, your health. There's a saying, what's the fastest way to get a billionaire's money? Take his health away, or take her health away. And so this also goes into when you take your rest period, when you take your reflection, when you do your regrouping, to cherish that time. Don't just take it for granted. And so with that being said, the next thing I want to talk about with regards to reflection, because I'm going to be coming back around here probably next week this time too, is nostalgia and future self. It's always amazing how we fall in love with nostalgia. We fall in love with the bygone days and how we can paint everything with a rosy picture. With doing this type of project, when you're going to be focused and you're going to achieve great things, if you will, in a specified time, one of the enemies of that is to discount our tendency to be rosy about what we've done or how we used to have it, or the good old days is one of the things that people say. And so the reason why I'm talking about that on a day of reflection, of regrouping, of rest is look at the patterns, look at the tendencies, look at all the stuff that you've gone through for the last week without rosy colored glasses. Look at it with a certain amount of critical review. Be honest with yourself. Don't give yourself a pass if at the beginning of the week you said, oh, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, and you didn't get none of it done. And the reason why I say that is because if you give yourself a pass, you are pushing all of that stuff that you said you're going to do onto your future self. And it becomes harder